Rick, we can't hear you this time now for some reason. Bart, are you hearing Rick okay?
No, I'm just hearing doom, doom, doom,
All I hear was the
doom,
bass drum.
doom, doom.
Yeah.
All I heard was bass drum.
Yeah. Oh, how about this?
Here we go.
Hey, yeah.
All right, there we go.
All right,
That's
there
a
it
proper
is.
Like
drumming
that.
introduction by Rick Stojak. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drummers Education Connection. We're here every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock Pacific time to bring you adventures in drumming and music and teaching and baseball. Nope, not really baseball so much. My name is Jeremy Steinkohler, and I'm here with two really, really fine people, excellent human beings, terrific drummers and teachers. Rick Stojak, drinking his coffee in San Diego, California.
Yay.
And Bart Roby down in Ontario. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I'm
Ontario,
only drinking
California,
water.
not
That's-
Canada.
That's LA, folks.
Yep. Not here with us today is Chip Ritter, our fourth partner, and we hope he's having a good day today. And just as well, it's because today our plan is to talk about what happened at PASIC. PASIC, for those of you who are new to it, is the Percussive Arts Society International Conference that happens every year in Indianapolis. And we, the three of us, along with my student Tien, who may, if we're lucky, pop on and join us today, we just came back from PASIC and we had a fantastic time, and we're going to get into it today, and we're going to hear about maybe some of our friends who were there who might chime in. And if you're curious about it and have questions, ask some questions in the chat. But before we get started, we'll start with our usual segment we like to call Good Things, which is a chance for us to just check in. I know we are all going to say PASIC was a good thing, but I have some other stuff too. How about you guys? Bart?
Yes. As usual. Yeah, I got to agree. PASIC was amazing. And I really, as I said before we went on the air, I really felt, as corny as it sounds, I felt like my soul was at home at PASIC. It was really cool, man. It was an amazing thing. So yeah, that was good. I got home and I'm kind of doing my normal wind down for the year thing. We've got like the band's got a couple of shows left for the year. I've got a couple of recording sessions. One of them I'm going to do after this today. Students, and just kind of starting to go into my end of year chill out mode, which is something I always enjoy because it's been a heck of a year, and glad to be chilling out a little bit.
Yeah, man, you've earned it. So enjoy your little light season here.
Yeah.
How about you, Rick?
Yeah.
My name is Rick, and I'm a Sabian cymbal addict.
You know what? You
Sabian,
are totally a cymbal-aholic.
Yeah,
Yep.
I am. I've been an addict for Sabian cymbal addict for 20 years.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And I need more wall space for all my extras.
You
I
need a
use them
bigger
all.
studio.
I know. I use them all, and it was just so. I know it's going to be. I had to mention PASIC. Sabian had this booth at PASIC, and you got to play all the cymbals and sample them, and there's about 5 more that I just have to have.
You know, in the scene in Jaws where what's his name? Roy Scheider says, "We're going to need a bigger boat." Or no, it's like Rick is like, "We're going to need a bigger kit."
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Exactly. So the real good thing, and I know we'll get into the show, was just the wonderful camaraderie between all of us three and Tien, how we all hung out, and then all of the great people that we got to spend time with, and the drum community is strong and solid and wonderful, and it's just an honor to be part of it, and that's my good thing.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of good things about PASIC I want to talk about, but I do have some other good things too. So you guys all went home right after PASIC. I went up to Chicago to visit Evan at the college, and we had a couple of days hanging out together, and I had so much fun. We had just the greatest time. We went to the Michigan Northwestern football game, which Michigan won in the very last second on the very last play. It was a totally fun game. We hung out, we played pool, we had a jam session with some of the jazz kids in the program, so I got to play. It was like Papa Steinkohler with the youngins.
Papa Steinkohler, that sounds that's a great name.
That's a rapper name, Papa Steinkohler.
Papa Stein. It was like Chaka Khan.
Chaka Khan, Papa Stein.
Yeah, and we went out for some great food. We went to the Chicago Art Institute. We just had a great
Wow.
time. And it was 2 fun packed days, and it was so great to see him just kicking butt there at college and playing great. So that was my really good thing. And then also, I'm going to put this in the chat. Just like moments ago, before we got online, we launched a brand new Bandworks website. So Bandworks is the School of Rock and Roll program that I started
Boom.
in 1992. So we've been going for over 30 years, and we just put out a new website. And it's my wife designed it. She's a really great designer. So check it out. Nancy, I know, isn't Nancy a designer too? Graphic designer?
Not
No.
graphic design, not web design.
Oh yeah. Well,
Nancy
those are
Medeiros.
yeah. Those are actually often the same thing.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, check it
yeah.
out. So that's cool. And then dovetailing right into PASIC. So what, I mean, the hang was the best part for sure. Like I had so much
Completely.
fun hanging with you guys and with
Yeah.
Tian. I was so glad Tian was there. She's she's a student of mine. She came from here, from Berkeley, and you know, she's got such a great attitude. She's always curious, and she's making massive progress as a player, and she has so much enthusiasm for what's going on at PASIC. It was really cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
I got to hand a copy of my book to some of my drumming heroes, and that was definitely a highlight for me also. So after Omar Hakim's clinic, for those of you who don't know Omar Hakim, he's like one of those incredible studio guys live too. He's played with like everybody, like Sting, Weather Report, David Bowie,
Madonna.
Madonna, Dire Straits, Kate Bush, Miles Davis, Daft Punk, Mariah Carey, David Lee Roth, you know, like kind of across the board, like all the jazz and all the rock, and like one of the top dudes in the world. And he was such a generous guy. He was like, you can tell when these guys give their presentations. So back up. So when we go to PASIC, there's an expo hall full of all the latest drum equipment, and Sabian has a booth, and Vic Firth has a booth, et cetera, et cetera. And you get to press the flesh and schmooze and connect with your artist reps and check out new gear. And that's super fun. But then the educational component is they have these clinics that happen all day long. And it's not just for drum set. They have marching band, mallet percussion, world percussion, you know, education and pedagogy, and in each track there's like a whole day long of stuff you can do. So for the drum set, there's like 5 or 6 clinics that you could attend every day, and most of them are famous drummers or not so famous drummers. You know, each one is 50 minutes long, 50, and they get to play and they get to talk about whatever they want to talk about, topic they present on. And there, you know, some of those were really, really outstanding. And it was cool to connect with some of those famous drummers who are right there and available to talk and wanting to talk. They're happy to meet with people and give you, you know, a few minutes in conversation. So I get to give a book to Omar Hakim. I got to give a book to Jason McGurr from Death Cab for Cutie, who's a real terrific drummer, who I actually mentioned in the book, and a couple other dudes. And I got to meet Dave Weckl. I was sitting next to Dave Weckl at a performance for like 20 minutes. We started chatting a little bit.
From Chick Corea and
oh, sorry, Dave Weckl. Yeah, I mean his biggest one was Chick Corea, but he's also played with everybody. Oh, and then Ashley Sohn, who's like, I had never heard of Ashley Sohn. Had you guys heard of him?
Yeah, I had heard of him.
I had heard of him.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to stomp on you, but I tell you, the way that I actually ended up meeting him and talking to him is we're both Gretsch guys. So that's how I introduced myself.
Nice.
And within 5 minutes, we're at the Gretsch booth, literally just like the three of us talking. He was such a great guy, just one of the dudes. And oh my God, what an amazing, amazing player. What an amazing player.
I had never heard of him. He turns out he's like basically the top studio drummer in Britain, in the UK. Yeah. So he's played with Tori Amos and Seal, Van Morrison, Bryan Adams, Sinead O'Connor, Squeeze,
Adele,
Taylor Swift, Belinda Carlisle, Dua Lipa, Cher. I mean, massive credits. And he played so incredibly. I was the most, even though there were crazy, insane drummers like Daphnis Prieto, who was like mind-blowingly accomplished and, you know, had mind-blowing facility and skills. Ash's drumming was like super incredibly musical. I was like, oh, he's like a British Steve Gadd.
Yeah.
Right. Everything he played was perfect. It was like in time, perfect time, impeccable
Smooth.
touch, smooth flowing groove. And I was just like, wow, what an amazing player. So you can hear it in how we're talking about it. We all got so amped up and excited from the experience and seeing some of these drummers play and getting to talk to some of them. And also, getting to talk to just other regular drummers, friends of ours from around the country, meeting new people, guys who own drum shops, other educators from around the country, people who have been guests on our show that we'd never met in person before, like Larry Rodbell. And who else did you guys meet that you never met before that we interviewed?
I had never met Jim Royal in person.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
And
first time meeting Jim Royal.
Yeah, and Jim is such a great guy, and we just kind of, James Harrison,
Yep.
but meeting Jim, it was like we were old friends immediately. We had only met through the computer, and I kept all weekend long. The funniest thing for me is everybody'd walk up to me and hey Bart, and it was like immediately we knew who each other were just because we had seen each other so many times online, and they all said the same thing. They're like, you're so much taller than you look on the computer. The computer makes me look shorter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got the opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, just so for those of you watching for the first
Hi
time,
Rick, how are you?
Hi, dude. What's up?
Bart is all of 6'5", in case you're wondering.
And I'm all of 5'6".
Yeah, right.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You are 5'6"?
Yeah, 5'6".
So we're like a foot apart.
Yeah, which is why it's a pain in the ass when we share a drum kit.
Yeah.
To go on after
Right.
you.
I'm right in the middle. I'm at 6 feet.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, and Derek Lee from Beat Note was there. He had a booth, and we got to connect with him. He's been on our show and a big supporter of DEC.
Here's the funny thing about Derek, and I even went over to the booth and said this to him. I'm back at the Airbnb, and this is like such a dorky, dumb nerd thing to even say this, but I'm putting pictures up on social media from the thing, hey, this is what we did today, and all these pictures of us, right? And I put up this one picture. I think it's Jeremy. I think it's you and myself and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, holy crap. We're wearing the same exact shoes. Me and Derek have the same exact shoes on, right? It's like I don't notice shoes ever. Just in this picture, it's a full. And so I walk up to him the next day at PASIC, and I said, "Hey man, I got to tell you something. Out of all the things I've seen at the show, there's so much incredible stuff. The new cymbals and drums and blah blah blah. But I said there is the most educational thing that I learned in the whole show is this." And he goes, "What's that?" And I'm going real slow and methodical. I go, "Well, you and me." He goes, "Yeah." I go, "We have impeccable taste in footwear." And he looks down. He's like, "Oh my God, how did that happen?" That's like the dumbest thing I've ever said to somebody, but it was funny and we got a good laugh out of it.
So I think it's the type of convention that any drummer in any style
Right.
could go to if you have passion for drumming. It's not just like a total headstrong thing for, drum fanatics like us, that are, have been make a living at it. I mean, there are probably way more fans of drumming hobbyists there than people who make a living.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think that's I'm sorry, Jeremy. That's one of the things Weckl said during his clinic at the very beginning of it. He said, he goes, PASIC is like NAMM, but it's less Hollywood. It's more drummers hanging out and just talking drums,
Right.
And again, Jeremy just gave Dave Weckl's, lineage of who he's played with, all these amazing players. And if you're a drummer, you probably know who Dave Weckl is. But was just like kind of reiterating the same thing. Here's one of the greatest drummers in the world, one of the most famous drummers in the world. He's like, hey, we're just kind of all doing the same thing and doing our own thing. I thought that was really cool.
I used to think before I really knew what it was about, that this was like a sort of industry trade show for professionals. And it turns out it's not. It's really for just anyone who is interested in drumming.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been telling my students about it the last couple of years that I've gone, and trying to convince them, like, this is such a fun thing. You guys have to come. And I've got several students who are like, oh, next year. So they're keen on it. But it's not like the clinics are just super advanced and over the top and only for really advanced players. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but there's stuff for everyone. There's stuff for everyone. It's geared for everyone. It's not geared for just professionals. So.
And there's a lot of layers to Percussive Art Society. There's local organizations. Each state has their chapter, and anyone can get active and get involved and contribute. And there's definitely a strong, like, drum line, drum corps, orchestral participation in it, but it, like we said earlier, it's all aspects of drums and drum set. I used to think it was more of a percussion thing, so it wasn't on my radar years ago, because I didn't think it was drum set. And then we went last year, so we've gone 2 years in a row. The three of us went, and I was surprised to see how much drum set there was. And so there's presidents and there's, of your region, of your state, and then there's committees that put this all together. It doesn't just happen. There's the drum set committee. What other committees?
There's an education committee. Yeah. There's a orchestral committee, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of time and energy into this to make it flow, and people can submit videos, to present at PASIC, and then they have the tricky job of picking which artists are going to get to do a presentation, which is a very prestigious thing. I'd say PASIC and the UK Drum Show, from my knowledge, are the biggest drum shows out there. That's not easy. So it's kind of cool. Like, if you're an up and coming drummer, that's something that you could consider as time goes by. Hey, do I want to break in this drumming community as an educator? And so if you want to do that, you need to go to PASIC. There's just no doubt about it. You need to start knowing what people are doing, and learning from them, and start getting to know the scene. And it's exciting.
It is exciting. And one of the things that I really, again, I'm kind of going back to Weckel and his clinic. He said a couple of things, even though Rick and I were unable to stay for the whole thing. He said
we walked out on deck on Weckel.
On Weckel, we had to.
Sorry.
We had a flight. Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dave.
But he said a couple of things that really resonated with me. And one of the things that he said was like, okay, when he got into the industry, he was like, how am I going to make a difference? How am I going to make a difference in the drumming community? And that was something that was important to him. It wasn't just about, like, of course, you want to be recognized for your playing, but you want to make a difference and hopefully help people. And I guess is one of the nicest things for me was hearing that. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed about it was that pretty much everywhere the three of us went, somebody would say something about Deck. They recognized us as Deck. And there were times when I would just be like by myself somewhere, and one of the, like an artist relations rep or something say, hey, where's Jeremy and Rick? And I liked that, because along with what Weckel said, I guess it gave me that feeling like, hey, somewhere along the line, our little dog and pony show has made a difference. It's brought people together. And I think that's what PASIC as a whole does. It brings us together, as we've often said, as a community and as a group of like-minded people. And I just so pleased with that, and and proud of it, proud of what we've been able to accomplish with our little Tuesday morning, chat.
I think
they were calling out Deck. I'm glad. I thought they were saying something else.
Yeah, boy, Bart, you sure
like, hey,
you're a Deck, Bart. You are such a
right.
Like, what?
Yeah, I'm on Deck. I'm famous.
I think you hit on the central thing there. Like, you'll go and you'll just feel like you're part of a larger community that you maybe weren't as aware of. and that there's all these other drummers out there at your level and before and in past, you know, everyone in their place doing their thing and pursuing this thing that brings us joy and passion. And, you know, yeah, you find
It's
your community. Well,
yeah.
one of the a really fun one, a good friend of the show, Murray Piper, he was able to lucky enough to present this year, and
It was amazing.
yeah, his thing was all about passion,
Yeah.
passion and drumming, and how it seeps into different aspects of our lives, and how it keeps us going through difficult times, and um, you know, he's just connecting it to energy and, you know, just sort of state of being in the world, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's good that's good stuff for anybody,
Oh,
Life is
yeah.
Rhythm was, I think, is what he called his
right?
clinic.
What was it called?
I think it was called Life is Rhythm.
Life is Rhythm.
I
Yeah.
think, or something like that. Yeah, you know, it's an interesting dynamic going on because at any given moment, there's 5 things you could go see, 5 different types of
Yeah.
clinics.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the Indiana Convention Center. It's massive. It's so massive. And then you've got all of these exhibitors, all these manufacturers, and then there's all these people to chat with all at the same time.
Right.
So, and it's hard to balance your time, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have an agenda where you really need to talk to somebody, and you need to do that, and someone's coming up to you and they want to chat with you, but you've got to go chat with that guy because you know that guy because you have some business to do. And it's a real balancing act of time, you know. And I think everybody wants to chat with the A-list guys, you know. There's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody wants to say hello to the players that we mentioned. And
I'm just as happy to talk to friends, you know, that are not
yeah.
the A-list guys, that are whatever, the B-list guys, and connect, and that's one of the funnest parts is, you know, going out to dinner with guys that we only get to see once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Um,
Agreed. Yeah,
That's
because you can learn so much. Usually you can learn a little bit more and get a better connection with someone maybe not an A-list guy, you
that's
know,
right.
and rather than being in the grill of some top player.
Well, and
It's
those guys and a couple of women, they have, you know, everyone wants to talk to them, let
yeah.
alone the people who know them. And so they're
right.
walking around and every 10 seconds are being stopped. Hey, can I take a selfie with you? And oh, love your playing. And, you know, and they got stuff to do and people to see. And it's great that they're generous and gracious with their time. But, you know, you're not going to have more than a minute or two with most of those kinds of stars,
Exactly.
which is fine, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I had a couple of I had some really great conversations with Jim Royal, with Mike Packer, with Kevin Lyman and his wife Michelle. Like we had a really nice time hanging and
Yeah.
just talking about all different kinds of stuff related to drumming and music and teaching and our
Well,
careers.
and you can,
Rob
you
Mintzner. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
sorry, Jeremy. I didn't mean to step on you. That was my fault. Um, one of the things that Rick and I had a conversation with Jim Toscano because Rick was having some issues with some stuff, and Jim is kind of
Tech
the
issues.
tech guy, you know,
Yeah.
and so you know we're feeding each other with that stuff too, and picking each other's brains, helping each other with those type of things as well, and so seeing those people, seeing those, and knowing who they are is is really cool. Again, being around like-minded people and working together on things, and everybody's pretty giving with their time and their advice
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Imagine that you're into woodworking
Mhm.
and you're kind of a hobbyist woodworker. You have a normal job and you have a wood shop in your garage and you make, you know, little boxes or whatever, chairs. And then you go to this woodworking convention conference, and you know there's like this Disneyland of booths hawking all the latest woodworking stuff, and you can look at all these amazing examples of great woodworking. And then there's these workshops that they're going on all day long about all these different Japanese dovetail joints, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know, how to use a jigsaw, whatever.
Right.
And everyone's there and they just share this interest and this passion, and you're meeting people and you're getting websites and you're telling people about your stuff, and people are buying your stuff and you're buying their stuff, and it's like that but for drums. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, one way or another, no matter where you're at with your drumming, the resources are there in that room to guide you along.
Yeah, I wish that more companies went to the expo hall. I have to admit, like most of the biggest ones are there, but not all.
Yeah,
And I'd
yeah.
love to see some representation from some of the other companies that I miss. Like I'd love for the Aquarian to decide to go.
I know. I would too. There was some pictures online, and I did not see this. Maybe you guys know where it was. There was like a picture online of Murray Piper, who we spoke of earlier, giving a drum lesson to a kid
Mm.
on some practice pads. Do you
Yeah.
guys know where was that?
Yeah, if you're outside of the expo hall and
Right.
there's sort of like a curtained area that you kind of got to go behind, and then this is another thing they have at PASIC is there are certain hours for free lessons. I think it's like a 10-minute lesson you get, but anybody can
Oh,
walk up and sign up for a 10 or 15-minute lesson, and the people who are on the committees volunteer their time to offer these lessons. And you could do a lesson on drum set, you could do a lesson on keyboard percussion, marimba or xylophone, or on classical snare drum technique, orchestral snare drum. And those are all things that are going on at different places within the place at different times. And it's not like all day long free drum lessons. It's like for 2 hours in the morning, whatever. But that's pretty cool, right? They're just turning people
yeah.
on, and maybe there's
Yeah.
people like me who have a curiosity about learning to play vibes, and I can go get a free 15-minute introductory vibraphone lesson, or
Oh,
work on your classical technique, or hey, I know Mike Packer's got this really great, he learned from Ralph Humphreys, his hand technique's really good. I want to go ask him a couple questions about something. So I know he's teaching a private lesson at 10 o'clock, so I can go check him out. And that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Two of the clinics I really enjoyed were a little something different. And one was a guy, he was playing hip hop, but he was playing on acoustic percussion drum set instruments. And he had a big bass drum on a mount so he could hit the bass drum in front of him like that. And then he was putting his elbow on it and bending the pitch of it, and he's playing like stacker cymbals that sounded like hand claps. And then he had, he was stand up the whole time. He had a kick to the right with a pedal, and it was like this whole different approach to drumming. I've dabbled with it a little bit. I've played with some DJs, DJ and drum set. And so it opens up some doors for thought and possibilities of what you can do, so you can create your own pathway, right? Because you're not going to be the next Dave Weckl or Ash Stone or Omar Hakim. You've got to be you, and something an event like this can open you up to some thoughts for you to figure out what your thing is. There was another guy, he did a clinic on he was working with like an echo kind of thing, or like a recording thing, right? He would clap, bop, 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 and then it would repeat that. And then he'd play a little bell part and it would repeat that. And then he'd add an effect over it. And then pretty soon he was like this one-man band. It was just like a whole loop kind of clinic. And it just opens you up to all of the different possibilities. And Omar Hakim did his clinic on Roland electronic drums. So that was incredible to see the evolution of how electronic drums are evolving.
And I have to admit, Omar Hakim, again, one of the top studio drummers of all time, or top drummers of all time. And his thing was about Roland V drums and sounds of the Roland V drums. And I was like, I don't play electronic drums much. Like, that doesn't really interest me. What a bummer. I would have really liked to see him do his thing. But you know what? I'm going to go anyway. I can't miss a chance to watch Omar Hakim play live.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal. It wasn't deep in the weeds about sounds on the kit. It was just, half of it was just about his career and how he approaches playing with people. And, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I, to kind of spring off of that, the thing that I really enjoyed about it was everybody did their thing. Like Rick said a second ago, you're never going to be the next Omar Hakim. You're never going to be the next Dave Weckl, but you're going to be the next best you. And so I think that's a takeaway that I got both years. If you're going there trying to be, whoever your drumming hero is, don't do that. be you and find your voice. And if your voice is in playing the drum set and being the best halftime shuffle player in the world, then work on that and go for that. If you want to play a drum set that's made up of a bass drum and an electronic snare drum and cowbells and stackers and all, then do that.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to be artistic, and don't be afraid to find your voice. And I think that is something that that was my biggest takeaway, and I remember when Rich Redmond was on the show, he said, when I got into my 50s, I quit comparing myself to everybody, and it was very freeing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've recently kind of quit doing. It's like, hey, look, I'm really good at doing what I do, and to me, hearing that from him and going to this drum convention where that's all it is drums and rhythm, it really made me realize that, oh wow, what I have to say matters as well. And I think that that's one of the takeaways that I've taken from it. And I think any young drummer or old drummer would agree with that. They go and see it and go, oh yeah, I can do this too.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's that famous quote that's attributed to Teddy Roosevelt that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Right. And that's a good way of thinking about things, that if you get caught up too much, we've talked about this on shows in the past. If you get caught up too much in comparing, you miss a chance to enjoy what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have an ego and think that I've got to let go. If you have an ego and think that you're going to get discovered and make it because you went to this convention, you're gonna.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be like that.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Even if you present, I mean, it'll raise your profile because more people will know about you. But they're very selective about who they choose to present. And then also, even if you do, it's like, okay, that was it. That was cool. That was done. Met some people, shook some hands, sold some books, sold maybe a handful of albums, and that's kind of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not like this is going to get you the next gig.
Well,
Right.
no, and I think that's the way clinics and master classes are. It's just like another gig. It's just another gig, right?
Yeah.
I do a lot of clinics throughout the years, and I think that that would have to be the way I would look at it. It's just another clinic. Now, I do have to say, Murray came up to, well, I think all three of us were there, and he came up afterwards, and we were all like, dude, way to go, you crushed it. And he goes, when we do clinics all the time, we do gigs all the time, but when you walk on stage at PASIC, that's a different animal.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, yeah, dude, I
all drummers.
I get it.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
I get it. I totally understand. So,
switching gears, I wanted to share with you guys one of the coolest products that I found at PASIC. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
In the expo hall. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see that?
No.
Yes, the pull cord drum key.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So Evans came up with this brand new product, and we just kind of, when we first walked into the expo hall, that was the first booth that was staring us right at the entrance, was the Evans booth in Diodario. And we started talking to one of the sales reps and, looking at the stuff they had on display, and they had this thing. And I had just the day before I came to PASIC, I was on Facebook, and a friend of mine, a drummer out here, a professional, was raving about this thing. I'm like, oh, that's curious. I wonder if they'll have that at the show. Check it out. And it's a drum key that has three, whatever you call,
wrenches.
Yes, thank you. And they all fit on a tension rod. And one of them at the bottom one is kind of a normal one. You can just put it on there and turn it back and forth. But then if you stick it vertical on its side, you see that little black knob at the top, that little kind of trapezoid piece.
Yeah.
So here it is on, like, that would be on a key. If you pull that knob, and a ripcord comes out like that, and you can, like, it's almost like pulling on a motorboat to start a motorboat or a lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
You pull that thing about a foot and it spins the tension rod really, really quickly. And so this is a way of like changing your drum heads like in seconds. So you put the thing on, loosen, get the tension rod moving, pull that ripcord once or twice, and the tension rod is completely removed. Or if you flip it over, it's completely seated to about finger tight. And then you can tune it, with the normal key from there. So I've already used this and shown my students. It's awesome.
I got to one of those.
The thing that I liked about that too was, since I was a child of the 70s, when you pull that ripcord, it's kind of like the G.I. Joe with Kung Fu grip. It has 7 different things that it says. One time it'll say, practice your paradiddles. The next time it says, you were rushing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Come on, you have to be from the 70s.
But anyways, that was, I mean, there was a bunch of cool stuff there, but that was on the product side. That was one of my favorite things.
And I don't have any pictures of it, but I gotta tell you, the new I don't have any yet, but the new Todd Zuckerman 18, 20, and 22-inch red light crashes. Yes, 22-inch crash cymbal. You will be mine. I'm getting a few of those.
we all
were
some claims on some cymbals while
we
we were there.
Oh
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those are going to be the thing that makes Sam Morrison go deaf in 2026. I'm gonna get a 22 and a 20. God, they sound so good, and they're, for that big of a cymbal, they're real thin, and so they've got a nice glassy sound to them. I'm an Evolution guy. I've been playing the Sabian Evolutions forever, and I'm going to stay with the Evolutions, but I'm going to get a couple of those and take them out, and they're, man, those are some crash cymbals, man. They sound amazing.
I'm excited because I got a fitting for an in-ears studio monitors.
Those are awesome.
Those in-ears, and they sponsor the show. It's the best sounding in-ear monitor I've ever experienced. And yeah, you got yours there?
Yeah, I was going to show them.
Yeah, please do. Mine will be here in 3-4 weeks. Yeah, nice thick cable.
And for anybody who uses in-ear monitors, I had another brand before I switched over to in-ears, and they sound great, and they're fine monitors. But the in-ears, they fit my ears so well, and a lot of that is because the previous ones that I had that I talk about are they did the laser fitting, whereas in-ears they made the molds, and man, I gotta tell you, if you're gonna go with in-ears, definitely get the molds. Don't do the laser fittings.
Yeah.
They just snap. They literally, like, you put them in and they snap into place, and they feel great. They sound amazing. Just really, really, really good monitors.
I could not be happier with my purchase. And you can pick your custom colors. You can customize them with logos or initials, or whatever you want. They're pretty rad.
This worked out well, but I was so scared at first. I'm getting my mold done, and Don, the owner of In-Ears, has a phone and a camera, and we're looking in my ear, and we're looking at it, and he goes, "You have crystals in your ears." And it was really freaky to see, like, what the hell? I have crystals in my ear. What is going on?
My brain is melting.
Looks like there's a set of keys in here too.
Hey, look, I lost my Rolex 4 years ago. There it is.
Yeah, there's the old drum key I lost.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it looks like, technically, I think it looks like sand. I'm like, oh, because I'm always going to Florida, visiting my mom, swimming in the ocean. And so he gave me this spray to clear my ears, did it that night. Then the next day went in for my mold, and no problem. It was all cleared up. But it's a real good thing. So clean your ears, everybody. You'd be surprised at what's hiding in there. Don't stick anything in them.
That's really public service announcement. Don't stick anything in your ears ever.
Yeah.
It's for earplugs. Oh, you know what? Another thing we forgot to talk about that's a part of the convention is, and a meaningful part is, they have performances at night. So, the convention hall, the expo hall closes at 5. The clinics are done at like 6 o'clock. Everyone goes out into the neighborhood and gets dinner at downtown Indianapolis. And then if you want, you can come back for a free performances, and they have different bands playing every night. And the first night we saw Jeff Hamilton, who's phenomenal, top of the heap jazz drummer. His main gig is Diana Krall, where he's played with tons of people. And his trio played, and they were just exquisite. And then Daphnis Prieto, who's a Latin jazz or Latin fusion drummer, who's
that was deep
his
stuff,
thing was
man.
mind blowing, man.
Yeah,
Mind blowing.
Deep.
His band played, and then the second night I was too wiped out to go to the show. Do you guys remember who played the second night?
I don't, because I was right there with you.
Yeah,
dude.
After dinner we were like, I need to crash. And then the third night, which I wasn't able to stay for, and I know you guys had to leave also, was Stanton Moore, who was playing with Galactic. It's, one of my favorite bands. They're amazing. So there's this, it's like you get all this and then you get a free concert at night.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I love exquisite. That's the perfect way to describe it. The Jeff Hamilton trio was phenomenal. His feel is just incredible, and his sense of humor is great. He's a total hammy, clowny kind of guy, and old school, like almost old school Vegas jazzy funny guy. And he played so good. And and incidentally, as a side note, my favorite record that he played on with Diana Krall is Girl in the Other Room. And he played half the album, and Peter Erskine played half of the album. And oh my God, that's my favorite Diana Krall record. So
nice.
Check that out. Yeah.
Another really I thought fantastic clinic was Matt Billingslea, who is Taylor Swift's drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy came out and played, it was in the ballroom. How many people would you say fit in that ballroom? Maybe 2,000?
Yeah, right around there.
Somewhere
2,000,
around there.
2,500, I would imagine.
Yeah,
it's big.
It was pretty packed. And he played along to a song, and, it was cool. It was cool. It wasn't mind-blowing like these other players, but he was serving the music, which is what's kept him on the gig, And then he just spoke, and it was kind of like a TED Talk speech, and he was getting into the the longevity of drumming. The clinic was called Thoughts on Longevity. And it's so much of what my take was from this was just the mental aspects of drumming, and he got into mental health and physical health, and and all of his networking and his responsibility, errors he's made and how he fixed them, and taking responsibility. So a deep dive into all this stuff that's about being a better person. And so many of these clinicians were all about that. Be a better person,
Yeah.
And be the best you,
Bart
and all
be
that.
A better person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially me. Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of room for growth in that department.
Those of us who are insecure lash out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think one of my favorite things about hearing all of those things, and something that we talked about, actually, I think we talked about before we went on, that the three of us, and Tien as well, so I'll say four, but the three of us as the members of DEC, it's kind of like being in a band. We all shared an Airbnb, and we all, I think we all went to every meal together.
Yeah.
And it's just a great hang. We don't, it's, and that's part of, to any young person out there seeing this who wants to be in a band, which is a whole thing unto itself. The 90 minutes you spend together on stage is very small. It's the rest of the time that you have to live with the people that make it hard. And we really do. I mean, we had a great time. We had some really deep personal conversations. We had, we had a lot of fun. And so to me, that's as important as any great clinic that I'm going to go see, because the great clinic can happen anywhere. But when you're kind of hanging together in that camaraderie and like-minded things, or we're checking each other on things, and I mean, it's tremendous. It really is great. I can't say enough good.
Totally
say
agree,
enough.
Bart. Totally agree, 100%.
Totally agree. Yep.
And Rick brings a practice pad, and he sets it up on the kitchen counter, and so that thing is going kind of the whole time. One of us is on that thing playing or improvising or warming up, and what are you doing there? Oh, well, that's cool. Look at your hands. How are you holding the sticks like that?
Yeah,
it's kind of a good
A
time.
lot of fun.
Get to nerd out.
Yeah. I really I want next year. I think what I would like to see happen is I would like to see us coupling with some companies. I would like to see if we could come up with a way for Deck to couple with some companies. So I'm throwing that out there to anybody that sees this. Maybe we can talk about some certain things, partnerships, stuff like that. We're always about that, especially if it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit. Not everything works. But if anybody out there kind of likes our little dog and pony show, we do it every Tuesday morning from 11 to 12. And we would love to talk to you. We have a couple of things that we've been kind of throwing around that maybe we might try, but I'd like to kind of see if we could get some of that happening next year, a little more.
Well, what was so nice is we met up with so many great drummers at that A-list level, and then the local guy in whatever city, players that we've had on the show, and players that we'd like to have on the show. So we met up with a lot of people, so we could, we've got a lot of people we want to have back on deck in the future. So it was really good for that. And then the manufacturers, like Schlagwerk. Schlagwerk is the German cajon maker, all the hand drums, the log drums.
Gorgeous stuff.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Man. That one big coffee table thing that they had. And Rick, you played it. I kind of banged on it a little bit too, but there was one, somebody was playing it and like this kid laid down on it and it was like a massage table. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah. They're all about the, using sounds for healing. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Schlagwerk. So it's a German company.
That's a Schlag shaker.
Yeah. Best sounding cajones. So hopefully we'll have them on in the future.
And I'll tell you this, I went to NAMM 5 years ago or something, just before COVID. And I was on a mission to get a cajon. And I was like, okay, this is the best place because I can shop all the brands and check them all out and put my hands on them. And, it wasn't about the money. It was just about finding the best one for me that I thought I liked the best. Hands down. Schlagwerk. Hands down.
Schlagwerk. You know what?
On a personal, what was it about the Schlagwerks that you liked the best? What was it that sold you on it?
The tone. Yeah, like the bass tone was like, oh, I feel that. I feel it in my body when I play it, and not just like this kind of wimpy, low sound. And then it was very crisp. Like the high sounds were really articulate, and I felt like it was very responsive to my touch. Like I could do finger stuff, and it was I could hear everything I was doing, and I didn't have to kind of like smack it to get sounds out of it. So yeah, and also it looks they look beautiful.
Jeremy, I just sent you a text of a short video that Bart filmed of me playing the Schlagwerk log drum, the big one.
You want me to post it?
Yeah. Or could you could you play it? Could you play it? Could you play it right now? Like share the screen.
That's what I meant. Hold on.
Yeah.
See if I can do it.
I don't even need to drum out. We could just play this log.
We could slog out.
We could slog out.
Oh man.
DW had a great booth too. They had the kits.
Hey, you know what?
And I got kits and DWE kits.
I would be remiss. I've got to give a shout out. I haven't even said this all show, so I apologize. Gretsch drums. Man, I've been with Gretsch forever. They had some fantastic new kits there. They had some really cool new snare drums there. And that was the piece I was just saying a minute ago, where they laid it on its side, and somebody laid on it, and then the guy was planted on the side, and it was like a massage thing, I guess, and was feeling it inside. And their whole vibe is percussion instruments like that, but there was also a side of it that was for like yoga and sound baths and things like that. And Rick and I are both practitioners of yoga, and so if you've ever done a yoga class where they have sound bowls and they do a sound bath and stuff like that, it's one of the most amazing experiences that you can. It's very, puts you in a very zen place. So so check that out. Their instruments were phenomenal. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not a mallet player. There are real mallet players
Oh no,
at
but
that
you don't,
convention, you know, and I'm
yeah,
just there. I'm just doing improvising, and I'm just having fun. I'm not worried about
no, yeah. Well,
it.
the mallet players, they're playing keyboards. That's a different instrument, the
Yeah.
log drum, the slip drum, or whatever it's called. So
Yeah.
they would do something similar to what you did too. No, that was really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I felt so relaxed after.
Yeah, I just felt relaxed just now, just watching it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
I'm
thanks for
zenned out
tuning
as
in.
we speak.
We obviously
Yeah.
had a really great time. We encourage you to check it out next year. Come if you can. And we'll be back next week with something new.
So is Rick gonna play us out? Or are you gonna play the video again, and we're gonna schlog out? I think we should schlog out.
Let's schlog out.
Let's schlog. Just, it sounds fun to say.
You know what? I know how we'll go out. I
Okay.
have a video of jamming on the hand pan. I'll send you that, Jeremy. We'll go out with this, the Schlagwork hand pan.
Yeah.
I couldn't, you know, I have rings, so I didn't normally you'd play this instrument with your hands, but I have rings and I didn't want to take all my rings off. So I just with permission from the exhibitor, can I play this with these mallets? And
you asked the Schlag police.
I let the Schlag police were there, yes, and so this thing was soothing. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
That was fun.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to our recap of PASIC 2025. We all had a great time, and appreciate you all.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week. Have a great week, everybody.